Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Welcome back to Wednesday. And yes, I've still got this sports collar on, um, but we're going to get through this. So Michael, how are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Good.
Trying to stay dry.
I love the background because it looks just like
Our
our guest
guest.
for tonight, Mr. Keith Age. Keith,
That's right.
You
everybody,
guys,
Keith
you
Age.
guys ain't right.
Peace.
Peace, man.
Peace. I showed you what my sign really was.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I like that one better than that one. But anyway, that's a cool background though. I like that. Where'd you get that?
The only thing that I would change is the hat. You'd never see me in that type of hat.
No.
I had to remember that. And then give the other sign the next time.
That's right.
But other than that, it's really cool.
I seen that. I said, that reminds me of my brother Keith.
That's right. That's right. We had Keith and I have been kind of talking back and forth all day, most of the day. We had a phone conversation earlier today. Brother, it's good. It's good to have you on the show.
Yep.
And,
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
did you get any rest?
No.
No, I didn't figure you did. You said you were going to go in your office and work on some stuff, and so I've been in and out of the studio all day. So,
Yep. Been working on this.
oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we just actually acquired an investigation. The Is it the 12th of June?
12th of June.
12th of June. It's the Bullitt County Jail. It's the we call it Folly Jail, and but it's about an hour and a half from here, and we are going to be doing some. Um, this is strictly a data-driven thing. We're going to do old school versus new school.
Okay. And that means what exactly?
Old school investigating and new school investigating. The way they did it back in the day when they first started, doing that stuff, and the way we do it nowadays. See which one's different, how different it is.
Well,
You know,
see, when you say old school, I've been known to go bag a bag of flour to see if I get footprints
Old
anywhere.
school. That's right. Old school.
that's exactly what we're talking about, and
Yep.
we're gonna bring in some compasses. A glass of water with a thermometer in it, and that type of stuff, and then
Just just make sure you bring a dustbuster.
oh
We
yeah,
talked about that too.
yeah, absolutely. It's it's going to be fun. I've been wanting to do this for a good long time. Um, Kind of our sister team, Fox Paranormal.
Yeah.
You know Michael and Destiny Fox. They come to the con every year. Um, they're going to go and hang out with us and kind of do some of this experimenting. And
It's gonna be all new to me too.
and
Cool.
I've done some. I've done some, and you know, it's it still goes back to how you how you personally conduct yourself in a paranormal investigation.
And the mindset that you're in.
Exactly. So you can have all the equipment in the world, and not being like he said in a correct mindset, and you've moved into this crap like you see on TV now. Um, you know, you're not going to get any different results than anybody else or any
Well,
other time.
I've been doing this for almost 50 years now, and I've been with a lot of different people. And if somebody actually believes before they even walk into a place it's haunted, they're gonna get something.
Oh
Whether
yeah,
it's whether they're projecting it or a building creaking and cracking, their mind is just automatically gonna say it's haunted. It's a ghost.
Yep, yep, yep. We had, when we first started this team, I had some people come on and um, they wanted to do this because they wanted to go and contact spirits. Okay, so why? Why do you want to contact spirits? I asked them because it's going to be fun and that type of thing. And I'm like, so you're ghost hunting. You're not necessarily trying to investigate anything,
Right.
you know.
Well, let me tell you what. My theory on that is real simple. Ghost hunting is the boringest hobby you'll ever have, and it is a hobby. It
Yes,
is
it is.
nothing has been proven scientifically,
That's right.
you know, and you know most people get into it because A, they've had a personal experience. B, their friends are doing it, they want to join in, or C, they thought it looked really cool on TV.
On TV, that's the biggest thing. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of been the Nantucket Nugget, if you would, against all this. People say they contact us and say, "Hey, we want to go on a ghost hunt with you guys." Okay, have you had an experience? No, I seen it on TV and it looked like it'd be cool. No,
yeah,
no, I mean absolutely not. Because that we go into situations differently. We do research, we do interviews, and not just Google. Okay, um, we go to libraries, don't we, Michael?
Yep.
My wife is ahead of the research part of our team, and like the place we're going to in June, guarantee you could ask her any question you want to about that place, and she's got an answer that she found during her research.
She'll
She,
well,
spit it right out.
what
yeah,
little bit I've got to know of Teresa, I can see that in a heartbeat.
yeah, she can. She has pictures of inmates' sisters. She has names of the guards' parents and grandparents and things like that. And I'm like, Teresa, first off, how did you do that? And secondly, why? What? She says everything pertains to that investigation. So
Yeah,
when something comes along, we get a name on the EVP recorder or something like that. I want to be able to verify it with what we had, what I found out. And
yeah.
I'm like, okay. I said, that's exactly how you legitimize things, I guess you would say, um, and verify that, yeah, maybe we're talking to that spirit.
Uh
And
huh.
And we have got names like that.
yeah, we have, absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what. When me and Robin got married, we bought this house. We're the second owners. As far as we know, nobody has died in this house. The previous owner had a massive heart attack in the garage, but he didn't die here. And we know his name and everything from getting the listing of the house and everything. And we have caught EVPs of different things, just wild, like children singing. We can hear voices talking at times. Uh, I come back here going to bed one night down the hallway, and there was a voice right behind me that said, "Good night." And I about jumped because I wasn't expecting a voice.
Right.
And I actually went and got my gun and cleared the house. That's how real it was.
Wow.
Make sure there was nobody here. Uh, our bedroom door opens and closes.
Yep.
And of course,
We got a
the dogs go crazy, and so we don't really know who it is. Oh, and the big thing that we get around here, money drops from the ceiling while we're sitting watching TV or something. And a
uh,
lot of times it's a dime, a quarter, and then one night it was like $5 of change just dropped from the ceiling. And
That's the
oh,
type of stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, man.
You need to tell them to drop you a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Well, I got up here once. I think I know who one person is. It was one of my best friend in the world. That him and I used to play music together and ghost hunt together. We traveled all across America doing the cons and stuff. And we had a catchphrase, just a word that we used. We were talking about music, women, whatever. You know, we'd say the word and we both knew what we were talking about. And other people had heard us say that, and they just said, "Well, that's strange," you know. It's just musician speak, if you will. And one night, I heard this word, and I went and got an audio recorder and set it down, put it on record. And about an hour later, I said, "If that's who I think it is, tell me one more time what you just said." And we got it on recording. And I played it for a sister, and she just flipped out. She said, "That's my brother. That's John. That's his voice." I was like, "Tell me about it." And then, like I said, with the change happening, that's weird enough. But right before John died, he borrowed $5 from me for lunch one day, and I said, the night that all that ton of money fell from the ceiling, I sat there and said, "John, if this is you, buddy, remember that $5 you owe me? Let me have it back." And I got up to go to the bathroom a little while later, and there's a $5 bill laying on the ground on the floor.
Wow.
So I don't
That's
know.
pretty.
I'm still waiting. Like I said, I've been doing this 50 years, almost 50 years. I'm still waiting for the day that Bob the ghost walks up and goes, "Hi, I'm Bob." You know, you know,
Right.
I don't even call it ghosts anymore. That was a term made up in the 12th century to scare children to go to bed at night. Eh, we just don't know what it is yet. It's some type of phenomena that is happening. We just don't know what it is. We have not scientifically said it. And, like you said, there's people in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
I
Get it
still get
from
excited about it. Uh, you know, when I called this the boringest hobby, it's because if you've got four recorders going on and then you got four audio recorders going on, you have to go back and listen to each one of those. It's like watching paint dry,
Yep.
you know. And, if you don't have the right mindset for doing that, you're in the wrong business. But a lot of people think, oh, I see it on TV, I'm going to get rich. Well, I hate to tell you, number one, I have had plenty of TV shows, hit TV shows, and paranormal pay sucks. Big time. I don't do it for being on TV. I do it for the love of the hobby, and that's what I still call it, a hobby. And like I said, just the experience of trying to capture something. And, when you capture just something small, that's great. But when you get something big, you're like, "Oh, holy shit!" Wow.
Exactly.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, I got the hiccups all of a sudden.
Oh. Uh, I totally agree with you. I got into this because of experiences I had when I was younger, and you know, probably the only TV show that I watched um, way back, was Ghost Hunters, and when Grant was on there with Jason,
Yeah.
I thought it was a great show and everything like that. And then some of the others started coming on, and then I watched some of them, and I'm like, nope, that's crap. And then, and moving down, and then it got to where, and now I don't watch any paranormal TV.
Well,
Oh,
starting even during our show, at the very beginning, there's a little disclaimer. It says, "For entertainment purposes only."
Right.
And the cool thing with Jason and Grant, they came out in 2005. We came out in 2006. Or, excuse me, they came out in 2004. We came out in 2005. And the top three for 3 years of the paranormal investigation shows was Ghost Hunters, Spooked, and Haunted Evidence with Patrick Burns.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and that's the cool thing about the Booth brothers who made the documentaries and the stuff with me for sci-fi. They agreed at the very beginning of even filming anything. If I could explain something, that's what happened. But if I couldn't, you know, matter of fact, they came to Waverly Hills to film a little independent horror film called Death Tunnel. And do you know what dailies are?
Yeah.
Okay. They got me and said, "Hey," because I was a consultant for Death Tunnel, and they showed me the dailies where they about drowned this poor actress. They shot this scene 26 times. They had run a hose from a 2,500 gallon tank outside into this room, and she was supposed to be taking a shower. Well, the camera set up facing her, and she's showering her hair, rubbing her hair with shampoo, and this black object kept just flowed in, sometimes from the right, sometimes from the left, and just hover there, and then go out. And Philip Booth goes, "All right, what is this? We shot this 26 times trying to correct it. We couldn't. Every mechanical thing they could think of. And this poor girl, like I said, they about drowned her. And I said, well, to me, it looks like a shadow person." And Philip Booth, in his best British accent, goes, "Well, what's he doing in my shot, mate?" And I said, "Well, I guess he liked the view." That's the only thing I could think of at the time, because with an independent horror film, you got to have what I call a big boob blonde in the shower scene. That's
Yeah.
just a prerequisite for every independent film,
Right.
and that's what was going on in this shot.
Hmm. Well,
and and that was the first thing real paranormal that started getting them excited, got me excited, and that led into the whole spook series right there.
wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
That ghost that likes big boob blondes and taking a
Well,
shower.
They like them too.
well, just big boobs. Anyway,
Right.
Never mind the blonde, right?
right. It doesn't matter if it's blonde, brunette, redhead. As long as they got the visual in front of them, they'll come out in droves.
Right.
And and the cool thing about Death Tunnel, if you go back and you watch it and you hear the EVPs and stuff, those are real EVPs that were caught. Uh, because we did capture a lot of Waverly Hills of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting place, Waverly Hills. Um,
Yeah.
I've been there, but I've never investigated there. I did some photography work there, but I would love to go and investigate there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole lot different now. Last time I was there was Halloween morning, 2005, and then the series had come out and it just went boom. And I'd been there for almost 5.5 years doing all that. Started all the tours and everything. It started out as a weekend investigate, have some tours, turned into a whole nightmare scenario of thousands of people showing up. And like I said, once the show hit, and that was the boom time for paranormal, investigations, and I couldn't do the everything people wanted me to do, have my full time job, and then go do that. There just wasn't enough time. So I ended up leaving in 2005, and it took me 20 years to go back and go do an event there with my good buddy Rick Hayes and Brian Kano, and a lot of it has changed so much, and a lot of it's for the better. It's geothermal heat and air in one section of it now, and it's just awesome. It's all totally cleaned up. When the first time I went through it, there was dust and debris and garbage and leaves 2 feet thick in the hallways and the
Hmm.
doors and the rooms. And, you have to shuffle your feet, otherwise, you're going to trip over something.
And
Right.
they still, well, they're doing tours through there now, aren't they?
Oh, they still do them, yeah.
Yeah, we may have to go to Kentucky, Michael.
That's not that far.
Oh no,
Well,
not that
well,
far.
Keith, what got you into ghost hunting?
You want the long story?
The Keith story.
The Keith story. Yeah.
All right. They
Excuse me.
they call me the rock and roll ghost hunter because I've been playing music since I was 12 years old professionally. And when I was 16, I went on the road with a certain person. His name was Ted Nugent. And I went all over the world playing. And when I came back, I met this young lady, and this was the 70s, so I had hair down to here, full beard, leather everywhere, and like I said, the whole 70s look. I looked and lived it. The whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That was my mantra. So I came back, met this young lady, and on her 17th birthday, her mother came over to my house because we only lived a couple streets away from each other, and invited me for a surprise party. And I said, oh, okay, cool. Now, this little girl, she wouldn't invite me to come over to her house. I just figured because of the rock and roll look. And so I get there, knock on the door. She answers, and her eyes just get this big around. I'm like, look, it's cool. Your mom invited me. And she said, no, you don't understand. She goes, we have a ghost in the house, and he doesn't like mine and my sister's boyfriends. And I went, yeah, right. Let's go smoke another one. Let's go have fun,
Right.
you know. And so it's just a little ranch house that was built in the 40s, and it was the first house built in the subdivision in that area. And the guy who was the contractor and guy putting the whole subdivision together, that he lived in that house with his wife. So anyway, we're in the living room. Like such a little ranch house. I can see down the hallway to the master bedroom. There's a mirror, and it was reflecting back to us. Something kept walking in front of the mirror, blocking our reflection. So I'd get up and go check it out. There's nobody down there. So I was being young, dumb, and stupid because I didn't know anything at the time. Just said, "Come on, show me, prove to me, do something. I don't believe in you. I don't think there's anything real here. Come on." So at the end of the night, I went to leave. We're standing at the front door in the living room. I bend over to kiss her. I'm bending over to my left, and something just goes clamp on my arm. And the first thing I thought was, "Oh hell, her dad's got a hold of me." But I can see him sitting over in a lazy boy over here. Well, before I could kiss her goodnight, I am flying backwards through the front door, through the screen door, and I land about 6 feet out in the front yard, past the steps, and knocked every bit of wind out of me. And I was just like fingers, toes, what's working, what's not. And I could
Right.
hear her screaming. I see what's left of the door, and it's just falling apart. And we're not talking a little corrugated wood door. We're talking about a solid oak wood front door like they made them 40s.
Phew.
And I just went, that was so cool. Do it again, you know. And I've been hooked ever since. So.
Only Keith.
That's cool. Did you
Yeah.
ever get to investigate that house?
Oh, yeah. Uh, Even though me and the young lady broke up, for years I was considered the oldest adopted son, and until college years and stuff, and I lost track of them a little bit. And they sold the house. They never could keep nobody in the house. Month or two, people would break the lease or break the the sale agreement.
All right.
They couldn't keep nobody there. And then about 8, 9 years past that, it burnt to the ground
Mm.
mysteriously, and nothing has been built back since. It's just an empty lot. And I got to catch up with them after about 30 years. I got to reunite with them, and they live out way out almost to Shepherdsville now, and they both have passed on since then. But that's when Robin and I first got together, my wife, and we were dating then, and I took her out there to meet them, and they got to telling her all these stories, and she was just like, "Wow!" She was, I've heard Keith talk about them, but but to hear y'all talk about them, it's the same story. Everything he said, y'all are saying the same thing. So what we finally figured out, or what we think we figured out, was, like I said, the original owner. We think it was him. His wife died in the house in the master bedroom. She had cancer, and he finished the subdivision, sold the house, and then my friends were like the second or third owner of the house, and then you know, and the rest of it is history.
Well,
You mentioned your wife. Is she into ghost hunting also?
Oh yeah,
That's
she
cool.
is now. We've known each other since we were 5 years old, and she started going around with me different places and stuff. And she had her first real paranormal experience at Post Town. We actually stayed inside the building and had the door barred shut, and there's a light in the hallway, and you could see feet outside the hallway and underneath the door. And she was just watching it, going, "Wow, oh my God, cool." And then we went to a place called Twin City Opera House up in Batavia, Ohio, and it's still part of the Underground Railroad. You got a basement and you got a sub basement, and the sub basement was part of the Underground Railroad. And while she was down there, I was up on the stage doing stuff. She was downstairs with a bunch of people, and they were sitting there, and all of a sudden they got really, really cold. And while they were sitting there, a voice growled at them, told them to get out.
oh
And
wow.
Mm.
she said, "We did," you know. So, she enjoys it. So when she gets real things happen, that's when she gets excited about it and everything too.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Plus, she's very empathic. I call her a witch.
Okay. All right. So tell me, you being in the paranormal as long as you have been, and I know you worked with the Booth brothers,
Mhm.
um, and one of the things that I had seen, the haunted boy, um, and so how many times have you run across in all of your years? How many times have you run across what you would consider a demonic uh, spirit?
Once, and
Once?
it was at that house.
Yeah.
Um, there's still something there lingering, and I'm not psychic in any way, shape, or form. I'm about as psychic as a brick, honestly. And in all the times I've been doing this, there's only been 3 locations where the hair stood up on the back of my neck before I even really crossed the threshold. And one of them was at the haunted boy house, the exorcist case. When I walked through the doorway, I mean, the hair on the back of my neck just bristled. And I was like, oh, this ought to be interesting. The first place was Round Top up at Gettysburg. We stepped out on the field. And the last place was the Little Bighorn and Last Stand Hill, where Custer died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little bighorn. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so, all right. When you were dealing with the haunted boy, um, so did any of that? like, I guess for the lack of a better word, did it scare you? Did Keith scare?
Tell you what, I am a musician from the 70s. I don't have enough brain cells to be scared.
Okay, all right. So
Because usually when something happens and people are backing away, I'm usually going, "Oh, cool! Wait a minute, let me look at this."
yeah,
You know,
that's interesting. So
That's me. I wanna be able to have that happen to me.
hang on, I'm having a disk malfunction here.
oh, I thought it was a honk going on back there. Blaine was in the chat room. We could get him. We could get him to what is that? Hank Blue. Maybe you could paint some Hank Blue.
Yeah.
You know, but
Now the drawer just fell out on its own,
okay,
so
all
I had
right,
to put it back up.
gotcha, gotcha. So when you guys were shooting the Haunted Boy, how long did it take to shoot, and what did you guys have to do?
Uh, we shot at the house for 4 days, and we got some really wild stuff. And there's things that Sci-Fi Channel Universal wouldn't let us put in. They demanded it got cut. In the boys' room, which was up on the second floor, they sometime after all this, they had cut a doorway into the wall, and there used to be a deck that you walked out onto, but that had been gone by the time we were there. But the doorway was still there. It had a 9-panel glass door. And right next, the door's here, and the closet is right here. Well, Philip Booth is actually in the closet shooting with the camera, big camera. I am directly across from him shooting with the thermal camera, and Chris Booth is in the doorway to the room across from me shooting into the room, so we get, three-way coverage. Now, over here by the door, Greg is standing there, and this was early February. It was bone cold, and we're watching in these glass panels. Faces start showing up in these glass panels. Then they start morphing into different faces, and people are going, "Oh, that's Philip." I'm like, "No, Philip is in a wall. He's in this closet. There's no way he can see the door or have his reflection hitting it, And we're watching this, but Sci-Fi said no, because it went from everything from children to what looked like Jesus Christ, just all kinds of different things, and they said no, we can't show that. And then Greg, who was standing by that door that used to lead out, all of a sudden he's going, "Man, it's getting hot over here." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I put the thermal on him and the door. It's reading 5 degrees there at the door because it's not insulated very well. Well, he's like, "Man, it's really getting uncomfortable here." Well, between him and the door, there's about this much space. And if you watch the film, you'll see Greg puts his hand up on his neck and says, "I got to get out of here." Well, look at the thermal. The thermal's reading that door, and the wall is at 800 degrees. That thing should have been melting, you know. But the door itself on the glass, it's reading 3 degrees. 2 inch space here. And when we pulled Greg aside and looked, he had welts on his neck. Well, everybody said, "Ooh, it's a cross," and I'm like, "No, it's an X." And they're like, "Well, what does that mean?" I said, well, what a lot of people don't realize, they didn't use crosses to crucify people
Right.
because engineering wise, that would have just been hard, mostly impossible in that date and time to do something like that. So they used boards that put them in X's
Yeah.
and hung people off of it. So I was like, that's what that reminds me of. So if you watch the film again, you'll see that they did let us keep.
Wow. That's amazing. But I kind of wonder why Sci-Fi wouldn't show something like that.
Because they said nobody will believe this, and I'm like, well, we're we're hunting ghosts. Why should they believe it in the first place? And
Exactly.
they didn't like that argument, so I lost. They won.
I got you. I got you. So, but so those happenings within that didn't that kind of intrigued you a little bit more about the whole ghost hunting field.
Well, that was almost 25 years after I've been doing it.
Right.
Started doing it.
Right.
So, like I said, I still get excited. And if you want to say a demonic energy, but because of the story and everything else and what was happening, I'd say that's probably the closest I've ever come to it. Uh, there are a few shows that every place they go to has a demonic energy, and the host gets possessed. And I'm like going, give me
So,
a break.
so do you think they had clergy on payroll? Because it had to get cleansed every time, right?
Well, I think it's good ratings. That's the best thing I can say about it. When we were filming Soul Catcher and we were out west on Indian land, every time we went into a place or came out, we we were blessed by shaman. You know, to make sure we didn't carry anything off the property with us. And that's like some people go, man, aren't you afraid you'll bring something home with you? And I'm like, only when I've been drinking. So,
That's right.
I've never had anything follow me home as far as I know. Uh, but again, I am a musician, so you never know.
When you were out touring, did like other countries? Did you get to do any investigation over the
No,
other countries?
no.
Never.
I got to go visit places, but when you're on a tour like that, every every night is scheduled for something. So you have a little bit of free time in the daytime, and you better be ready to play at the end of the night. 'Cause, we're
Gotcha.
not talking little 20, 30 people. We're talking 5, 10, 20,000 people at the places we were playing. But I have gotten to go to a lot of different places all over the world and got to see them. One of my favorite places to go is Poneri Castle in Romania. Do you know what Poneri Castle is?
Yeah, I think so. Like, when that
That is Dracula's
that's what I
true
thought.
castle,
Yes.
Vlad Tepes. You have to walk up 2,100 steps up a mountain to get to it, and that's where he impaled 21,000 Turkish soldiers. To scare them from invading the rest of Romania, and it's just ruins now, but it's fantastic. A lot of the streets of London, Whitechapel, I really enjoyed that, even though it doesn't look anything like it did back in the 1800s. Uh, some of the places are still there. Some of them have been changed and redone, did different things and everything. But like I said, I have a lot of different. Doll Island in Mexico was really really cool. I got to spend 3 nights there. That was awesome because you never know if you're going to get, you know, ate by a crocodile or not.
Right.
That's somewhere I'm not going. I'm not dealing with a doll. Okay. When we
No.
investigate, I let the team fool with dolls. I don't
Yeah,
do dolls. I'll sit back and watch them on the monitors. I don't do dolls. I will never go to the doll island. That's dolls are not me. Clowns, yes, love clowns to death. Little figurines of clowns all the time. I have a bunch, but dolls, no.
yeah. My wife is the same way with dolls or clowns. Forget it. It
Yeah.
ain't happening.
We went to the thrift store today and they had some dolls up there on the shelf, and I'm like, nope, don't want nothing to do with that. I kept on going by.
Then
Yeah,
you definitely don't need to go to John Zaffis's house.
Mm.
no, don't want to deal with no dolls. I'd love to meet John, but no dolls. And You know, we had somebody one time that came and told me, well, I have a Raggedy Ann doll that was made on the same assembly line as the
Annabelle.
Annabelle.
Annabelle,
Yeah.
and it's like it got three numbers off from the from that one and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Well, that's all cool and dandy. That's a Raggedy Ann doll, but just because it was made on that assembly line doesn't mean it's haunted like Annabelle. Okay, that's just big deal. Um, I, I I I probably could deal with Annabelle better than I would those porcelain type dolls and things like that. We did an investigation years ago. The lady, they called us in because there was having all kinds of stuff go on, and we had a lady that was on our team, and she actually went with the interview part of it, and we watched it on video, and she just like this person started talking through her. Okay, so then this person left. So when we actually came to the investigation, I was setting up cameras and things, and I go open this door, and the whole damn room is slammed full of nothing but dolls, from people size down to little bitty things. And I'm like, oh hell no! So I went and got Teresa, and I was like, no, y'all put a camera in there, okay? And we had a guy, um, ex-marine that was on the team at that time. Great guy. I can't really remember his name right this minute, but he says, I'll take the camera and set it up. I said, okay, cool. So he goes in there and sets it up, and I'm out there monitoring everything, and I send people in, all right, y'all start your investigation. I'm gonna stay out here and watch. And I'm watching, I got all these camera views set up. I'm watching shit fly around this doll room, okay? And we talked about orbs earlier. I don't do orbs, okay? I just
Neither do I.
don't do orbs, all right? But go buy some end dust, all right? Big deal. Be mad at me if you want. I don't care. But there was not orbs, but there was things moving around in the room. And I'm like, okay, it must be a fly or a bug or something, flying around in there. And so as I'm watching them on camera, and we have audio set up, and I can tell different rooms are going in at doing things. And when they got to this room, this doll room, there's four of them in there. They had EVP recorder on the bed. They had K2. They had a handheld camera. A couple other items. And Teresa asked a question, and the big lifelike doll that was sitting in the chair moved.
Nope.
And I'm sitting here screaming at the damn thing, yo, it moved. So, yeah, I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't want to use the radio or anything because it messes with the K2 and so on and so forth. And so finally, one of the guys noticed that the chair had moved. And then they started asking that doll particular questions and things like that. And then you had this weird sound. And then on the EVP recorder later, we picked up whispering. Well, I matched it up with everybody that was in the room talking. Nowhere near the same voice. It was a child's voice. And so we all come out into the garage, and I'm telling Teresa, I said, the doll moved. That's why I don't go in there. The doll moved. Okay? And she says, well, when we first went in there, everything was okay, but then you could feel the energy picking up, and then, and I forget his name, noticed that the chair was moving, and I'm like, well, the dolls are the problem in the house, And so the lady comes out, one of the owners, and I asked her, I said, why so many dolls? And she says, I just had this feeling I needed to collect them over the years. And I'm like, that's crazy. There's big dolls and little dolls. I said, but that's some of your problem. One of them dolls in there, and I think it's the big doll. And she said, I had a dream one time that I got up and I heard a noise, and I walked into the kitchen and looked down the hall, and that doll was walking down the hall. And I'm like, see, right there, that should have told you. Listen to your dreams, okay? Get rid of the
Hmm.
doll. So, but we are supposed to go back to the house. In fact, they contacted me not too long ago, and they're going to send me a date. And I'm like, y'all get rid of the dolls? No, they didn't get rid of the dolls. Okay, so now I'm gonna set my happy ass out into the garage, and they're gonna go in there and fool with the dolls and stuff. I'm not dealing with the dolls, and so no, if they need to remove the dolls, Keith, I'll call you to come get the dolls, and then you can put them somewhere. Maybe give them to John or something. John's Zappas. But
Well,
I'm
we'll
thinking of
send the ladies in.
firepower.
do what now?
I'm thinking of firepower.
Pile them up
Exactly.
in the yard and burn them, man.
Yeah. I tell you what, I've only had one investigation where I dealt with a doll, and that was at a senior living house up in Ohio. It was a full, blown facility, and it had a house in the middle of it. And I had about 20 people doing an investigation with me. And I was downstairs, and I heard all this screaming going on upstairs. And my buddy Marcus, big, biker, comes down. He says, "Dude, you need to come up here. These people are freaking out." And I'm like, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, they're saying the doll's eyes are moving, and it's moving." I said, "What doll?" He said, "It's up on the mantle." He said, "It's just a little old fashioned porcelain doll." And I said, "A porcelain doll has its eyes moving." I said, "They're painted on." He goes, "Just come here to watch." I said, "Did you see this?" He goes, "Nope." He says, "But it's starting to become mass hysteria up there." And that's what it was. People were so convinced this stuff was happening. So I go up and I check the doll, nothing happening. I turn around to talk to the people, and then one goes, "Oh, look, look, look." I turn around, I don't see nothing. Now people are really freaking out, so I just pulled my 45 out and shot the doll. I said, it ain't moving no more. And Robin had heard me tell this story before, and then she got to meet Marcus once, and she said, "Did that really happen?" He goes, "Oh yeah." He said, these people were freaking out. He said it was getting late, and here's the thing: this place was scheduled for demolition after I locked the front door, and the next morning when we were leaving, there were bulldozers there ready to turn it down. So I was like, I don't think they're going to care if there's a bullet hole in the chimney, you know. And it's like people go, "You carry a gun?" I'm an ex-cop. I'm allowed. You know, I have a license to carry. I always have. I will have it every year. I put people in prison. You know, and they're like, "Well, why do you need it on a paranormal investigation?" I said, "For that damn doll, just for that reason alone." You know, I blew it to a million pieces, and I didn't see it, you know, reinventing itself. So
His eyes weren't moving.
yeah, this isn't like Christine, and just the mind can play so many tricks.
Yep.
Fear, adrenaline, and paranoia go a long way to make a haunting happen.
Sure.
And like I said, if you're in the wrong mindset when you walk into a place, you're going to happen. They're all freaking out over the doll because somebody made the comment. and their mind is now playing tricks on them. It's running faster than what's happening, and they missed the best part. While we're downstairs in the wing, the patient wing, we're at the nurse's station. Everything has been stripped out of this place. But over the PA, you hear a call for a Dr. Thomas. Go to room 14. There's no PA anymore. It's an empty hole. And we're like, oh, that's awesome. But these people were so busy wrapped up in that damn doll, they didn't even hear it. You know, a few of them did. And they were like, well, let's go to room 14. It's right down that hallway. Go ahead and tell me what you find.
Now that would be me. I would be the one headed to room 14. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I want to go see what's in room 14.
Well, I've been down there several times through that whole thing. There was 3 wards, you know, so you couldn't be at every one at the same time.
That's it.
And, you know, it's just crazy.
Is there some place you'd like to investigate?
Do
that
what?
You haven't? Is there some certain place that you would like to investigate that you haven't?
Loch Ness.
We know somebody that's done that.
Yes, we do.
Mr. Ken.
And, yes.
Yeah.
And I got during Robin's dad's funeral, I got a call from a guy wanting me to come to Loch Ness and investigate the castle on Sheer Brine, that's the castle you see in all the Loch Ness pictures. And we just couldn't make the money work, and you know, and everything, and so I had to turn it down. Plus, that's when, you know, all the wars and gas stuff started, and I was like, I don't need to go out of the country, you know. You know, if we're gonna get bombed, I'd rather get bombed in my house.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, whether it's through articles of what you showed me earlier, Michael, or you know, an atom bomb. Take my pick.
That's right.
Yep. So, we are getting ready to have. We got just a little bit of time left, but it's coming up to our event, Keith, and Deep South Bear Comic Con. And you know, we've got how many days we got, Michael?
I don't remember. That's coming quick though.
Like 65 days or something like that.
Ain't many.
No, not many at all. So, and we are blessed to have you come out as a guest, one of our main featured guests out there. And you were last year and stuff like that. So you look forward to coming to the con. You've told me. And
oh yeah. Well, I mean, I got buddies going to be there. You know, James Stokes is going to be there. Yep. My buddy. You want to tell him who my big buddy is? He's about 6'5".
Actually, he's 6'10",
10.
and he wears a size 17 shoe.
Yep.
And his name is Robert Mukes.
Yep. He's my drinking buddy. And so got him going to be there. Ken Gerhardt's going to be there.
Yeah.
And you saw how me and Ken are. We're like two big kids together.
Oh, yeah.
We've known each other for a really long time. And I just always enjoy spending time with Ken. But and then you've got a ton of dealers going to be there and vendors.
Oh,
and I know you're still working on people. You know, there's a couple I hope you're able to get because I'd love to see them again.
You remember this lady here?
Which one?
Martha?
Oh, yeah. Martha's my buddy. I've known her for about 20 years.
Yeah, she was on our show last week.
Last week. Sweet lady.
Yeah, she's going to be fun. And I just didn't realize that young lady has been something of everything. I mean,
oh, yeah. And she's about as tough as they come. And she's only about 5 foot tall.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, you know, my wife's pretty short too, and these short ladies, they pack a lot of punch, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I have an Amazon for a wife. She's 6 foot.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have a daughter who's 5'7", and that's what we call her is Amazon. You met her, Nicole,
Yeah.
and but yeah, we've got so many guests. Jeremy Leonard's coming back. He is returning to Deep South. He missed a couple years, but he's coming back. Blaine Rowan, Letriana Brown, um, Matt Brown, Gwen Johns, James Stokes, as you mentioned earlier, um, Richard and Colleen Johnson. You know Richard. Richard's your buddy,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, he's turned out to be my buddy too.
Richard's
Well,
everybody's buddy.
that's how you and I got introduced to each other. Was Richard?
Exactly, and so I'm just blessed to have all these people coming, and I don't I hope it didn't leave out too many people, but we're going to have gaming and some things that we haven't never had before. We're going to have LARPers, and we're going to have live D&D, physical live D&D battle on the outside. We're going to be fighting with swords and all sorts of things like
Are
that.
you going to include insurance on that?
Insurance?
Yeah.
Well, they have their insurance.
Oh, I was going to say I was going to buy me a policy.
They have their own insurance, and but as long as they don't tear up the building, we're good.
Well, I'll tell you what. I enjoyed Deep South so much. It was just a lot of fun, and it was my first time coming. Uh, I was so happy when he told me Ken was going to be there, and Mukes. I called him and said, "Hey, I got a con you might be interested in, and put you two together." And I said, "Robert is just a really nice guy." And for those that don't know who Robert is, he's been in a ton of horror movies.
Yep.
He is mostly noted for playing one of the brothers from House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yep.
He was the tow truck driver.
Is it named
But
Rufus?
say it again.
Is it Rufus? Is that the
Rufus.
Rufus?
Rufus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got to know each other from doing cons and stuff. And matter of fact, first time Robin had ever seen him, we were doing con here in Lexington, and I was setting up the table, and she was out walking around, and she said, "Oh my God!" She goes, "I just saw biggest hunk of a man I've ever seen in my life, with long gray hair." And she was just like, "Oh my God!" He goes, "He smelled so good." I said, "Well, why didn't you go up and say hello?" She goes, "Oh no, she's a little bashful like that." And I was still setting up table. Next thing you know, there's Mukes standing at my table, handing me a beer, and he goes, "Here, I owe you one." And Robin just her mouth just hitting the floor, and she's like, "Oh my God, just you know each other?" And he goes, "Yeah, for a long time." And ever since then, they've been best of buddies. And I, of course, me and him. That's one thing we've always done. Him, me, Kane, a couple others, Kane Hodder. We have a habit of buying each other drinks, and
You gotta drink something.
yeah. So another cool thing is this man here saved mine and Ken's butt. We were so hungry on Saturday, and we didn't know where the food was at. And then saw your son. He goes, "Oh, it's over here behind this wall." And me and Ken went, "Room, food, starving." And we came in. That's where I met you at, Michael. And you were like, "Eat what you want." We're like, "Okay." Had us a ton of barbecue and hot dogs and
all sorts of things. Yeah, we're getting it. We're gonna have it set up We're going to have a green room that has food and stuff like that for you guys. You guys can kind of disappear in there and make sure that you're hydrated. We're going to have plenty of diet Mountain Dew. Um, and
in a waiting pool.
Yeah.
And a nice thick cushion chair for you.
Hey, cool. That's
Yep.
fun.
Yep. All the chairs there are cushioned and stuff. So,
It didn't matter to us. It just we'd been there Friday while everything was still setting up. And we'd been there so long. Me and Ken were getting tired, and our butts were starting to hurt on them hard chairs.
yeah,
And then we saw the chairs up in the stands, and we went, wonder if we get a couple of those chairs.
Yeah.
So,
And then when we put them out, somebody come by and took them. I had to go get some more.
yeah. So we appreciate it. But like I said, it was just so much fun. And that's the cons you like doing. And then getting to meet you guys, we've stayed friends since then.
oh yeah, yeah,
And,
definitely.
it's just an awesome time. So if you all have not bought your tickets yet, and they're at a discounted rate online right now,
That's right. $8.
yeah,
$8.
$8, and this thing is huge. I'm telling you,
I mean, you go and spend $8 and then go and get to meet Keith and Robert and all these other guests and stuff, and you get to take pictures and all the vendors that's going to be out there, and we're adding vendors every day. We filled the inside of the Civic Center with vendors, and now we're working on the outside. We got a Bigfoot bouncy house type thing coming. A vendor signed up just the
hey,
other
as long as you don't have a storm like they had in Texas last night. Just see that
Uh-uh.
the big bouncy house got blown all the way across a field.
Oh wow! It took off and flew.
Yeah, I mean, luckily there was nobody inside it, but
Yeah.
there had just been people inside it.
Well, I'm gonna make sure that it's all tied down. I don't. And maybe we could pull some vehicles around it and attach it to that. That way, it don't go flying off. But but we have a ton of things planned. A whole big gaming room in the back. We're gonna have workshops and stuff, so people can get tickets, go back, do the workshops. They're on the website. We're gonna have a couple people is going to do some talks in the back and that type of thing. That whole big back area is gaming, board gaming, that type of thing, and D&D, and we just had a meeting with the gamers, the ones that's kind of in charge of that, and they've got it set up really well, really nice. So, everybody just go to the website deepsouthfaircomiccon.com and make sure that you get a ticket. And the first thing you do when you come in the door,
Come see me.
go give Keith a big hug.
All right. And y'all scan that QR code right up there in the corner, and that take you right to the website.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Get all your
There you go.
information off of that.
And you can go to the website right there. There's just so many ways to get. And my beautiful wife, she's the one that works on this website, and she fixes things every day, and she'll make it prettier and more useful and things like that.
It needs more explosions.
Oh, okay. I'll tell her. I'm gonna tell her when I walk next door. It needs more explosions, and let's see if she can put some explosions on there. But yeah, Deep South's gonna be a great time, and we're just blessed to have all you guys come and hang out with us, and of course, it's kind of like a big reunion to us. We
Yep.
get to go
Oh,
have
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got Mukes coming. Mukes, my lord, he's a joy to have. Ken is great, always great. I have fun. Uh, James
James
Stokes,
Stokes. Yep.
like I said, him and I have been buddies for a long time. Uh, Never really got to talk until actually Deep South, and because, and even then it was, I'd have a line at my table or he'd have a line at his, and every time we passed each other, we, you know, we couldn't talk because that's the whole thing. You know, you want to talk to your crowd that comes to you,
Oh yeah.
and it's just a whole lot of fun. The food, the people, the like I said, Richard and Colleen were right across from me. I can't remember the girl's name that had the camera. Evergreen.
Evergreen. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I called her the cute blonde in pink shoes. That's how I remembered her.
She's a
Right.
sweet lady.
Yeah,
She's gonna be
and
there again.
cool.
That's good.
And like I said, last year I had Tony, Tony Moran, the first Michael
Hmm.
Myers, sitting next to me. Tony and I have been buddies for 20 years, and it was great to have him, see him, get to talk to him. Uh, and I'm hoping Mukes will be somewhere close so I can pester him to death.
He will. I've already
And
got it logistically set up. He will.
cool, thank you.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you haven't got tickets, now's the time to get them. New location, bigger location.
Yeah.
It just ought to be great.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be awesome. So everybody can go to DeepSouthFairComicCon.com and go in there and get your tickets, and you can find out all the information on all of our illustrious guests, if you will.
Right.
And y'all go over to Keith's page, and that way you'll when you walk in the door, you go right straight to Keith and give him a big hug and start talking about some of his stuff that he's done. This man has done everything.
Plus, they're going to be able to get a T-shirt this year.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to mention that. And you go to Keith's booth, his table, and you'll be able to get a T-shirt, and it'll be a memorable T-shirt. So y'all go see Keith when you get there.
All I will say about it is, I am not an orb person at all. And this T-shirt reflects that very much.
Make sure you got a 3X.
Now you talk to that man right there, because I know we're going to have large, extra large, and 2X. If we need 3X, that'd be the man to talk to right there.
Yeah,
Gotta have a big boy size.
well, I'm a big boy too, so because I'm going to buy some T-shirts.
Hell.
So yeah, absolutely. So, but everybody, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and Keith, brother, we just love whenever you come on and talk to us, and we can't really listen enough to your stories,
Right.
I mean, there's just so much, and we're just blessed to have you on our show.
Same here. I appreciate y'all even asked me to come on. I really do. It's fun. So, I get to hang out with two guys I like a whole lot, and like I
Can't
said,
wait to see you again.
I'm looking forward to August, like
Yeah.
you would believe.
Oh yeah, me too. And it's the day after everything's over, I'm still hyped up from
Yeah.
the con, and I'm trying to get this done, this taken care of, because there's, as you well know, Keith, there's some things that you have to do to close out everything, and
Yeah, it doesn't end when the doors lock on Sunday night.
not at all. And but I just love it, and I never thought that I would get addicted to it, but I guess I am.
Hey, I did it. I did it for 20 years. I had the biggest.
That's true. Maybe one day we'll be that size.
Hey, you got to start small and grow.
Yeah.
And first Mid-South Paranormal Convention had 300 people show up to it, and by the end of it, the last one, we had a little over 11,000.
That's a lot of people, Michael.
Yeah.
if there's 11,000 people come through Deep South, I don't know if I'll be making it through till Sunday. I mean,
Right.
really move. But I mean, but we hope, we want people to come out and see you guys and just experience what we have. And so, and it's all kid friendly, and kids under 12 are free. 12 and under are free, and just come out. Let the kids go pull Keith's beard, and but maybe James Stokes will wear his Jason Voorhees suit and stuff, and y'all can take some pictures with him. He did last year.
Yeah.
He didn't have a suit on then.
Yeah.
But we got some pictures made. And Mukes usually comes out in a bloody costume or something, so you never know.
I think I was the only one that got a picture in his outfit last year.
Well, there was a couple of attendees that got some pictures with him in a suit.
Okay.
But, yeah. So, but that's, and of course, like you said, that thing is hot. So I can only imagine. But all right, well, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all. And,
Thank you for having me, Michael. Great to see you, buddy.
Great to see you too. Can't wait till next 2 months from now,
Oh yeah.
or 3 months from now.
Well,
a little over 3 months.
Something like that.
Yeah.
all right, guys. Well, we appreciate everybody that's listened in and kind of hung around with us. And we're going to be back next Wednesday. We got a surprise coming real soon. And but y'all hang out. And Keith, brother, we love you and thank you for coming.
Hey,
Definitely.
ditto. Back at you, brothers.
And so, all right, guys, we're gonna bid y'all a good night, and y'all don't forget to go get your tickets to Deep South Fair Comic Con, August 8th and 9th at the Enterprise Civic Center. All right,
See ya.
y'all have a good one.
Y'all have a good evening.
All right, good night.
Thanks for burning it down with us. Find us on all the platforms and keep the fire going. This has been